some drought.
I mean, it's a real challenge. Whichever way you want to look at it. I mean, but I'm just hoping against hope that they'll be able to manage things. I was telling Winston just yesterday about a woman that I buy watermelon from just down the street, and she was giving another twist that apparently most of the farmers are selling their stuff to guys coming in from Nigeria, the neighboring countries, and even the Indians. So that was even a major challenge we had to deal with before this thing is setting in. That yes, we had produced enough of the food and everything, but it appears these guys from the neighboring countries are given a better price. So they are just coming in and just taking everything away. And you
Are
see,
there not certain circumstances under which, as a nation, we should just put aside our personal benefit and consider what works for Ghana? I mean, is it not in times like these when we've had this sort of problem that if for a few months you are supposed to go without as much profit as you normally would make just for the benefit of your nation, is this not the time to activate that patriotism? Because you are hearing them like openly saying that, no, why should I lose money? I'll rather sell to foreigners for them to get food to eat and for me to get money in my pocket.
Could you, when you walk to the hospital, they don't say that because you're a Ghanaian they're going to give you free services. If you're supposed to go for dialysis treatment at a private clinic, they won't say that because you're a Ghanaian come in for free. These guys have gone in for bank loans to invest in their projects. Give them fair compensation. I think that's the most important thing. So it's a difficult.
But
Everybody has to be better. But Winston, I've gone for a loan to do these things. I have to pay back with interest.
I definitely agree with you. You've gone for a loan. You have to pay the loan back. Nobody says don't pay the loan. But you see, my problem is not even the decision to sell to other people. My problem is how come how many of these persons who sell these are captured in our official documents as having done business? And I'll explain. Because most of the times we don't capture these people. Look, if somebody is coming in from Nigeria to come and buy stuff from Ghana, when he gets to Togo, he won't come by air, first of all. When he gets to Togo, he will change his currency into CFA. By the time he gets to Aflao, he changes the CFA into cedis and walks in. Meanwhile, if we're doing that properly, formally, we probably have said, this will cost you so and so dollars, but because of PAPs today, you could just say, you said it. But let's say, that person doesn't use PAPs. You're getting dollars into the country. If you're dealing with other persons from other parts of the world. Look, Coach, I don't know whether you like wagashi, but I like wagashi.
I'm not a fan.
Now, I buy wagashi around Dropong, about here, there, where I have a pig farm. Then one day, I go there and the wagashi that we used to buy for 10 cedis is now being sold. In fact, sometimes it was at 8 cedis, now being sold for 15 cedis. I asked the woman, why is it expensive? She says, oh, now the Europeans come to buy from the farmers. Oh, yes. They buy them from the farmers.
Indians are also.
The Indians are also buying from the farmers. So when she goes to the farmers, because there's demand and the supply is low, because even at the point, we didn't have a lot of rainfall, so these cattle couldn't feed properly to discharge a lot of milk. So they increased it because now they are selling it. People are buying and they come with foreign currency sometimes. So they say, if you want to buy, pay us this much. I don't have a problem. My problem is this. The largest producer of banana, one of the largest producers of banana globally, is in this country. But you see, that person, when he exports, doesn't bring the dollars into this country. And this is where I consistently talk about ownership of the Ghanaian economy. So we said we were doing planting for food and jobs 2.0. Why? If we did planting for food and jobs 2.0 and gave much products to farmers, the farmers will not be telling us that they went for loans. Because if this is the loans, then the government can say, I'm waiving them. Because if the government is prepared to pay 1,000 cedis per hectare, woefully inadequate, because it will cost you 10,000 cedis to actually, that is if you're very prudent, 10,000 cedis to cultivate a hectare of grains, particularly maize, for instance. When it comes to rice, it will cost you more. How would you say you pay that person 1,000? This morning, it will be important for the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, for instance, to tell us how many of the people they gave seedlings and fertilizers to as part of Planting for Food and Jobs 2.0 are affected. So that if they are affected, because you're expecting them to produce and sell to you or sell to aggregators, hold on a minute, you didn't get it, no problem. We're waiving that. Let us start afresh. Yeah. But let me end on this note. We will come back to all of these. But you see, is it not surprising that we live in a country that identified the importance of irrigation? And instead of dealing with the challenge, what we did was to engage in deceit by constructing dams that became thirsty in the dry season. Dugouts. That in the dry season, dugouts that were expected to be used in the dry season. First of all, I don't understand how you dig football-sized pitch and expect people to go and fetch water and water their plants. In the dry season, the very things that were supposed to provide water for the crops needed water. And we did the series here, Thirsty Dams. The deceit in this country is legendary. And if we don't change anything, look, we will come back. We will come back next year and have this conversation. And later on when we find out, from November to December, from end of October through to December, if we are not careful, we are going to experience a lot of challenge. But government says they're going to import grains in here. Now, if they import the grains, what happens? I'm sure your guess may be as good as mine.
Let's start with the new find. One of the lead stories, ECG to replace 250,000 Nuri meters with new smart paid meters in September this year. ECB records 700 million Ghana cedis in terms of profit for half year or something. And the NITA call for inclusive digital transformation. These are the lead stories on the front page of the Finder. Also in the middle story has a story about leveraging on SME Go program to spur growth. As the small and medium-sized enterprises in Ghana have been urged to harness the potential of government SME Go program, a strategic program aimed at fostering substantive growth and development within the sector. So says the Minister of Finance, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam.
Well, the Daily Graphic for this morning says, Asante Hene stews 3 chiefs over Galamsey. And we've been telling you about that story. But for those of you who are not aware of it, let me just share details with you. So the Asante Otumfuo said it was stewed 3 chiefs in the Ashanti region for their involvement in illegal mining. Now, the 3 chiefs, Jasehene of Sabronum, Nana Ewajao Atuomi, and Sabronum's Achamehene and the Bemuhene, have been banned from performing any traditional mandate on behalf of the Asantehene, who is the overlord of the Asante Kingdom. And the Asantehene subsequently appointed the Akwemuhene of Sabronum as the interim caretaker of the area to supervise the election of a new candidate, Kofi Asante, as part of the process to install a new chief in the area. And he says that, look, I gave the town to you. You could not take care of it. I've long been following up on this matter. This is also the report from the Bureau of National Investigations Bureau, BNI. Your names are clearly mentioned here in this report. That Santini told the Jasehene and 2 others in the faces when they attended upon the summon of the Asanteman Council at the Menchia Palace last Monday. And there's a quote here: If I still keep you in charge, you will destroy my communities and ruin the lives of our people. If it is the DCE who could not boldly call you to order, I have done that, Otumfuo angrily said, and threatened to get them arrested if they went back to the community to carry themselves as traditional leaders and continue with the nefarious activities. What I expect the police to do is now pick them up for investigations. It's as simple as that. And I am happy that Otumfuo has done that.
It's showing working.
And you see, it says, if the DCE, the chairman of the District Security Council, cannot tell you, I am getting you off. And this brings me to a position, and I've always maintained that, look, a lot of people respect their chiefs. And we've seen areas where the chiefs say no illegal mining and nobody will be able to mine there. This will deter others, and I would appeal to the Otumfo. Of course, you can't advise a chief in public, so he knows what to do. I'm sure there would be, other investigations into other areas to find out those who are behind it. And if traditional leaders are behind it, why not? Let's get them arrested, okay? It's good they are destood, but after they are destood, they should be arrested.
Imagine if every local authority is doing this. We could be winning the war.
Oh, yes, we have to win.
And if our people at the top are not taking the required actions, if those the local authority could.
Yeah. Still on the front page of the Daily Graphic, GCB Bank maintains strong half-year growth. You talked about that in the final, posting 700 million first half of the year profit. And Baumia commissions 10,000 YEA artisans. They receive starter packs for business, and so we're told that the government has graduated some 10,000 youth trained in various vocations under the Youth Employment Agency and commissioned them with packs of tools and equipment to start their businesses. The first batch of 20,000 young people to be trained through a 6-month intensive skills acquisition in various vocations. And the trainees went through accelerated apprenticeship training in hairdressing, plumbing, auto mechanics, POP, ceiling work, painting, and general electricals. Other areas are tiling, decoration, aluminium, fabrication, steel work, and welding, amongst others. And so at the graduation ceremony in the Bono East Regional Capital, Techiman, the Vice President, Dr. Bamia, with the assistance of the Minister of Employment and Labour Relations and the CEO of YEA, Kofi by Japan, and others presented boxes of tools, equipment, and other things to them to get into their business. Yes.
This is not a criticism of Dr. Baumia per se. It's something that I've seen every government do. They are going to tout this as a result, when this is really an input.
Yeah.
It's an input. So you have given them something of which they must make more. But we are not going to do any monitoring to see what they make of what you've given them. You've passed them out of the process, you've given them tools. How many of them are going to turn these into lucrative money-earning enterprises? How many of them are going to be able to even employ others? How many of them are going to start generating revenue and become breadwinners and look after family members? How many of them are actually going to turn this into productivity? That is where we stop. We stop the monitoring, because we are going to announce that we've passed out how many thousand?
10,000.
10,000 graduates. We've given them tools. We have done a great job. That's only the beginning. And we need to start thinking this way about every single thing we do in this country. Election year, let nobody come and boast about passing out 10,000 people.
You see,
I want to know what happens to them.
You see, if you implement the local government very well, decentralization very well, and so all these houses we're talking about, Kojo, we're building houses here, we're building houses there, we're building houses wherever, and most of these houses are in Accra. Now, if we're doing the right things, and we were developing our local areas, you know what's going to happen? These guys will find jobs. When they go back to the local areas, because you see, the thing about having having a local economy, booming your local economy, is that the local artisans within that economy would get jobs to do. And so if we say, for instance, that, okay, every district, you look at how, your needs and begin a housing project, that would get people to engage in all of these things. You say, okay, I have this amount of money as equity funding. Let us go into the development of this factory where I think I have competitive advantage. You see, you don't sit in Accra and invite applications from people to come and say we're setting up anywhere. And you see, what saddens me is that Ghana, apart from the fact that we have the best of laws, go and read Ghana's local economic policy. You marvel. Anyway, let me just chip this in. So this is the Volta Lake level as of yesterday. A bit of good news. So last year, that's in 2023, it was at 268.92 feet. Yesterday, it was 263.70 feet. So it means that that's a reduction of 5 feet. And that's more like an indication, and yesterday and Mondays, there's been no increase, but if you look at the previous year, there was a rise of 0.07